Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am your host, Dwayne, the flyest nerd you know, and this is the Movie Dungeon. And are we happy with superhero movies? Let's talk about it. So we just got the poster for Avengers Doomsday not too long ago. And even though it's a good poster, it makes me realize I don't fully like this lineup of heroes to go against Doctor Doom. I said it. I personally don't like this lineup for Doctor Doom at all. For him to fight against. It just doesn't. Let's just keep going. But almost worries me about this film is that are we gonna even care? You know, everybody's supposed to die, damn near in this movie. You know, if you didn't know that, you should know that. You know, the MCU is supposed to be rebooting, right? It's supposed to be rebooting. And so therefore, most of these people that we see on this poster are not going to make it. Or at least not going to make it after Secret Wars, you know? And I wonder if this is going to turn into another DCEU moment where how the Flash and this post-credit scene nobody gave a shit about. You know, Shazam and the Fury of the Gods no one gave a fuck about. And even though Blue Beetle was cool, it was just made at the wrong time. You know, all these things because a new regime was coming in and James Gunn was coming in to take over the last couple movies nobody cared about. And I'm scared that with Doomsday that it kind of has a softer and smaller effect of that line. You know, I'm in very, very wary odds with that. I see what they're trying to do though. I do see what they're trying to do by having Steve Rogers come back, and we still have Thor and Captain America. Hey, you know and Iron Man, and you know, hey, all the three besides the Hulk. You know, the originals is here, but then Steve Rogers is not Captain America. We have RDJ as Doom, not Iron Man. We still have Thor, like I said, so yippee. We got Black Panther, but it's not T'Challa. You know, I'm you know, rest in peace, Chad. You know, that's one of my personal favorite actors, and that really did hurt me. Can't recast, so I think they should have rebooted or fast tracked that little kid's life up a little bit more, especially for this film. But they didn't. So, but we got that. And then we got the Fantastic Four, as we all kind of like. I love the Fantastic Four. I love this iteration. I love the 2000 versions. That's my version. Don't give a shit. So that's cool. And we know from rumors that they're going to be the ones in our main timeline once everything is set going forward anyway, supposedly. So we see how that goes. We got the X-Men, right? We all love the X-Men. But back to my other point, the X-Men gotta go too. This is a farewell to them at this point. You know? They gotta get Cap. We gotta get a whole new set of X-Men. Yeah, we're gonna show because we care about them, but it's just like, what are we gonna do when it comes to Secret Wars? I think the X-Men are gonna die in this movie. You need to, you know, have contracts and, you know, money disputes, and everybody gotta get paid. So when you come back from Secret Wars, it's just way too many people. And way too many people with demands, with high demands. But we'll see how that goes. But we still have shows in between Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like I know we still got that Vision Quest shit out, and you know we still got the season 2 of the animated Spider-Man show going on. So we'll see. It does worry me though, because it's starting to feel like we've been through this before. But moving on to DC. Now let's talk about the DCU in a grander light. I'm a DC fan way more than MCU fan, hands down. I love James Gunn, and I love most of his projects actually. And I know some of his best movies come from comic book movies, right? Guardians of the Galaxies, you know, everybody loves this first Superman movie, but I'm iffy on it, right? It wasn't a bad movie. It was a movie. It was an okay movie. It was entertaining. But maybe him running creative and being a director is what's hurting the brand. Is what's hurting the company. And what I mean by that is he's a better director and he's a good writer, right? But him being a creative, he's prioritizing certain things that we kind of don't want first. And Supergirl was great. Character, right? Character. I love Millie Alcock. You know, we watch her from House of the Dragons. We're a fan of her on the show. On this channel, excuse me. So it has nothing to do with that. It was just a bad script over and all. It was just a terrible ass script. But James Gunn at the same time said, this is one of the best scripts I've seen, and whoop de whoop whoop whoop. And we're like, James, what was you smoking? Can I have some? Because there is no way as fuck that's true. So it made me think, as a creative, as him being a little higher up, he's just hiring his little director and writer friends, right? Hey, we go way back. You remember you helped me out? I got something for you. You want to do something in a big, grander scale? And it's not doing well. You know, it's not doing well. You know, especially how he felt when he saw The Flash and hyped up that Flash movie. And oh my goodness, if you love it, hey, more power to you. But I didn't. And I think that's a problem. That's very much a problem. He's hiring just friends and shit instead of hiring actually good, reasonable people for these roles. And I'm also happy, and you know, that he is picking younger actors to carry on this tradition for 10 plus years. You know, I'm that's good. At least he's got that. At least he's not going out, let me hire him. He's popular. Let me grab him. He's creating stars. I do fuck with that. But him prioritizing these writers and directors because his homies and shit, that gotta go. You know, Peter Safran is more like, oh, you want to do that movie? Let's do it. But here's how much you can do it with. And that's all he really is going to say. He don't really give a fuck who James Gunn is bringing on board, really. I believe in James Gunn and leave it up to him, so he don't give a fuck. But we do. But, you know, we still got Lanterns and we still got the second Superman movie coming out, you know. So I'm really hoping for those projects turn me around for this. But we'll see. Lanterns is where I'm kind of whatever on Superman. You already know how I feel. But Lanterns is where I'm hoping it shines at, honestly. And it fucking better. But anyway, that's all we have today on the Movie Dungeon. We're going to get a little bit more when things pop. If you like what we do here, like and subscribe. I am your host, Dwayne, at Flyers Nerds. You know. Peace.